Quick shots, weighing in with Travis Hartman. This is the quick reaction to the dismantling, Terence Crawford dismantling Errol Spence Jr. last night on Showtime pay-per-view. Weekend Trav, you've been in the ring with the man. Tell me what you saw from that fight and just the overall matchup itself.
I can tell you that every time that Terence Crawford hit Errol Spence, I felt it. Because I actually have felt it. But the guy, like I said on our podcast, his balance is so impeccable. His reflexes, his pinpoint accuracy, all of that. It showed in the fight, and I led that up to. I told you guys, too, that I thought he was going to fight most of the fight left-handed. He fought most of the fight left-handed. Actually, all of the fight left-handed.
It was just an amazing fight. I think we were talking right before we started recording this. Round one, I think I'd give it to Errol Spence. I think he did more volume, more, I wouldn't even call it damage, but he just put more volume. But then the knockdown in round two for Terence Crawford changed the dynamic of the whole thing. And before we knew it, it wasn't even a good fight anymore, Weekend Trav. What do you think about that?
No, I agree. And I think that in my prediction video as well, we both thought they would go the distance. It's hard to predict the knockouts, but we did say Crawford would win. I said Crawford would knock him down, though, and people thought I was kind of crazy. But Crawford knocked him out in the second round, and when he got up, I was like, oh, crap, he's going to finish him. Crawford is a finisher, which is also why I have him as one of the greats now, because he finished a top 5 pound for pound in their prime, younger than Crawford Spence is, and Crawford finished him.
Yeah, we're not talking one knockdown, 2 knockdowns. There was the third knockdown, and then finally finishing the thing up. Well, what round was that? Round 9? Round 9. Weekend Trav, the only complaint I have of the whole matchup itself, which, don't get me wrong, blockbuster fight. I think if you got that Showtime pay-per-view, you're very happy with the fight. But my one complaint is that it actually just wasn't a good fight. It ended up being so one-sided. Terence Crawford is that good, and I think he shut up a lot of his haters. That was really the dynamic of his words post-fight was, you all said I couldn't do it. You all thought this. You all thought that. He was really just in the mode of proving people wrong still, even after winning all the hardware.
And you know what I think? What shows, even though it wasn't a good fight in the sense that it wasn't competitive because Crawford just literally put himself in another league.
It was exciting, don't get me wrong.
Exactly right. But what I want to say is that, yes, when Floyd Mayweather fought Manny Pacquiao, everybody waited so long for that fight. And when they watched that fight, Floyd Mayweather toyed with Manny Pacquiao for 12 rounds because he was that much better. And this is what we're seeing from Terence Crawford, ladies and gentlemen. He's that much better than everybody else.
Amazing. I think he has cemented himself as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. I know there's some talk of Inoue, and we think that too, that he's there in that discussion as well. But I think, at least my opinion now, Weekend Trav, because of how much he dismantled Errol Spence Jr., who would be a top 10 pound-per-pound fighter as well, more than likely. I think prior to this fight anyways. I think now you see Terence Crawford #1. Inoue #2 for sure.
100%. My #1 and #2, and I don't think it's an argument anymore, is it's Crawford 1, Inoue 2.
Yeah. I don't even know who could possibly be next for Crawford. I know Charlo was in the crowd. They were jawing a little bit back and forth after that third knockdown of Errol Spence Jr. towards the end of, I think, round 7 it was. And so they were talking over the ropes. That was pretty interesting. But who can even contest with this guy in the ring right now?
It's tough, man, because that's how good he is right now. Right off the top of my head, every other fighter out there on the planet, I could think of a couple people they could fight. But Terence Crawford cleaned out the 140 division, undisputed world champion, went to 147, cleaned the division out. He's the first male fighter in the modern-day 4-belt history to ever win 2 undisputed titles in 2 different weight classes.
Incredible.
Who can the guy fight? He's moved up. He turned pro at 135, so he's already moved up to 140, 147. Does he go to 54 and fight Charlo? What does he do? I don't even know, but it's exciting right now because he's great.
He writes his own ticket. I think the only thing that could possibly get in his way at some point would be Father Time, and that's still years down the road. So
only 35, I
tell you what, Weekend Trav, any final remarks to this matchup? Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford, which we saw this past Saturday night on Showtime pay-per-view.
My only thing is I'm with Terence Crawford. I told you all so. I told you guys 10 years ago, he's great. I was in the ring with him. He's great. I promised everybody. I was like, listen, you think I'm like BS in here, but I'm not. He's the best, and I told you so as well.
Hey, how good could he be? He didn't even knock out this guy named Travis Hartman.
Weekend Trav.
Hey, just messing. So that was our quick shots, our quick reaction to the Terence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. fight that showed Terence Crawford is 2 steps, 3 steps, 5 steps ahead of everybody else in this weight division. Interesting to see what the future holds for him. And now Errol Spence Jr. more than likely stepping up, I think, to the 154 ranks. Weekend Trav. That's probably what's going to make sense for him because I don't, honestly, I'm not interested too much in a rematch in this, but it will make a lot of money. So we'll see within 30 days.
It happens, yep.
So Weekend Trav, that was the Quick Shots episode. Please tune in to the podcast, which will drop on Wednesday. We'll be talking a little bit about this fight. We're also going to bring up who we think is on the Mount Rushmore of fighters of the 2000s era. Interesting stuff to talk about there.
It's not easy.
Not easy. Can you consolidate your thoughts to 4 people? I want you to think about that. Tune in below, subscribe below, give us a comment, give us a like. We appreciate the follows. That over there is Weekend Trav.
That there is B Money, aka producer. Our final thoughts.
See you on the podcast.